Hello again. So we've made it to the town centre for sure this time. It's very, very busy. I mean, it's not like Edinburgh and the festival busy, but it's like a regular city centre on a Saturday night. It's still quite square building wise. If I had to compare it to a city I'm familiar with, pretty lights, I would say it's quite like Glasgow. Maybe not quite as tall as the buildings in Glasgow, certainly not as old. It's a little bit like when I went to Newcastle, but in Newcastle town centre most of it was sort of like this, and then randomly dotted about was much older buildings and little stairways and things. That was quite nice. I've been into one shop, so I've got my chocolate milk. I'm very happy. Actually says chocolate milk in English on the side, so I knew what I was getting. And the person in the shop was very nice.
Hey, wasn't this good?
All of the Icelandic people that we've met so far have been very helpful, very friendly. A lot of them seem to have connections to the UK in some manner. For instance, the gentleman in that shop was saying that he studied in the UK.
So here's around a bit like older style,
Mark was just pointing out here, there's some sort of older style houses up that street. They're not quite so square. We did drive past a bit today on our way to the Blue Lagoon. It just appeared like more effort been put into building the buildings there. They're a bit more intricate, a bit more varied. What's going on in there? Yeah, just seems pretty standard. Mark's been very magnetised to these furs that we've been seeing everywhere, specifically fur rugs. I think he quite fancies a reindeer rug. You would have to wear it or something on the plane.
I know, but wouldn't I look awesome with it like wrapped around my shoulders and like a big giant sword in my hand?
Yeah. I mean, furs aren't really my thing, I would say. Just seems a bit gross. Just wearing a bit of a carcass. But they're very soft, which is nice. There are actually wild reindeers in Iceland. We went that on our tour. They don't have a lot of wildlife at all, but one of the few species of land animals that they have wild is reindeers.
But even reindeers were introduced to the country.
Yeah, from
Norway.
The Norwegians that came here. They brought the reindeers. But just about the only predator that was here before people settled here was the Arctic fox. I've not seen any of them, but it's cool to know that they're about somewhere. There also seems to be a lot of references to foxes and things. For instance, shops seem to use a lot of it in their logo. We're passing one just now. Can't really see it because of the lighting, but it's a lit up fox and a tail. Ooh, that's an interesting one. That's not very square. So yeah, we're just having a little explore. Seems to be going well so far. I can't hear you, so
That barber has a stormtrooper helmet in it.
Cool.
Just as a random decoration.
That barber has a stormtrooper helmet in it as a random decoration. There is a lot of
Star Wars stormtroopers, not militarium contestants.
I was going to say there is a lot of franchise fandom things in Iceland. We've seen quite a few gamer shops, both in the shopping centre that we went to on the first night, and I think we've seen some in the town as well, and just dotted about the place. I do think unless you lived in the town centre. We're very, very close to it. It would probably be a hard place to live if you didn't have some form of transport. We've managed fine for the 3 days. What?
That suitcase is shaped like a coffin.
So it is. There's a suitcase shaped like a coffin. It's really cool.
Also, that elephant is really quite an elephant. You should buy it.
I would look good in that outfit, yes. I would.
You'd rock that outfit, honestly.
I would. No denying.
Halloween costume.
Halloween costume? No, everyday costume. Well, it's fabulous every day. You know, every day of your life is an opportunity for fashion. I learnt that from TV. Can't remember what I was saying there. Nah, it's gone. Yeah, so we're just wandering around and it's quite enjoyable. Oh, transport, that's what I was saying. I think it'd be a very hard place to live, unless you lived in the town centre, to manage without transport. Though we have seen people with quite varying transports. There's a lot of 4x4s, as you can imagine, big trucks and things that people have.
Bonus. Get on from bonus.
There's another bonus shop, so that was like the little supermarket we went to in the shopping centre. Turns out that there's loads of them in Iceland. It's considered one of the cheapest supermarkets.
It's also the largest by number of stores.
So that £35 that we spent on those items was considered cheap by Icelandic standards, which is fun. Yeah, we've seen people with quite a lot of varying forms of transport. There's a guy on a Vespa just driving around on the pavement. A couple of people on bicycles. We saw one guy going about on an electric scooter. So yeah, you would need some form of transport, but what that transport would be quite up to you. But I imagine it would be limiting based on how variable the weather is. It is a lot clearer tonight, is a lot milder than it has been on the other night, so a perfect night kind of to wander around outside. So it is a shame that our tour was cancelled, but the sky just isn't very clear. I know we're in the city, but nah, I can't see a thing up there except for clouds. So it probably was for the best. Right, so we're just going to keep exploring. Good night.